Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? Saints lose to the 49ers 13-0. The Saints were shut out for the first time since January the 6th of 2002. The 0-1 season. A year after Hakeem dropped the ball. That's how long it's been since the Saints were shut out. The Jim Haslett era, the last time the Saints were shut out. Yesterday reminded me of my childhood. As a kid who was born in 82, grew up going to the Dome, got to see some really good teams in the late 80s and early 90s when I was a kid. Dome Patrol, Dalton Hilliard, Eric Martin, Bobby Hebert, some good football teams. Division champion teams that absolutely could not get over the hump in the playoffs, and mostly because they couldn't get past the San Francisco 49ers. So even when they were great, they would inevitably lose to San Francisco and be a wild card, whatever the case may be. And yesterday felt like my childhood with the Saints going to San Francisco and getting whipped by the 49ers. Incidentally, the last time the Saints were shut out was against the Niners, 38-0, and back in January of 2002. And to pour salt in the wound, it even looked like my childhood. The Saints went with the old school white, gold combo uniforms. They went with the gold helmet, the white jersey, the gold pants. I mean, look at it right there. There's Ricky Jackson. There's Andy Dalton side by side. I mean, it even looked like my childhood. Unfortunately, the Niners, who had gone astray with these weird uniforms for a lot, kind of went back now to the uniforms they wore in the Joe Montana era, and so that, albeit the backdrop was not Candlestick Park, it was Levi Stadium. That looked like my childhood and felt like it as well. What an absolutely dreadful 3 hours with how we spent our Sunday. And you know what, man? It is almost unfathomable how quickly this has happened, isn't it? The fact that I tweeted this on Sunday, so many of you might have seen this when I tweeted it, but for 16 seasons, when the Saints played football, I believed that they would win every time they played. Now, knowing full well that you're not going to win every game you play. And I'm not talking about that any given Sunday nonsense where it's like, well, it's not nonsense, but the cliche, because that's true. Any team can win in pro football on any Sunday. I mean, like, legitimately, anytime the Saints played, and Sean Payton was the coach, Drew Brees was the quarterback, I expect them to win that game, right? No matter who they were playing, where they were playing, I always thought, watching for 16 years, the Saints were going to win. I have gone from that expectation over a decade and a half to now, in one half of one season, expecting the absolute worst and expecting the Saints to lose. That is an incredible accomplishment by Dennis Allen to pull that off in half a season. By Dennis Allen in this front office. The players have absolutely no fear of retribution from their coach. It is the substitute teacher mentality that's going on in New Orleans, when even your best players are the ones continuously committing mistakes. One of the things we lauded with this organization was the great player leadership. It is gone. Great players like DeMario Davis, Cam Jordan, Alvin Kamara. There feels like there is nothing of the sort internally anymore. I'm not in the locker room, so I can't speak to that. I'm talking about observing as an outsider. It feels very different. I'm sure that you would agree. And how they continue to invent new ways to lose is stunning to me. Alvin Kamara fumbles on the opening possession of the ball game, gives the 49ers 3 points. Alvin Kamara fumbles at the goal line, negating a likely touchdown for the Saints. Even Will Lutz misses a field goal. Those plays alone in the game turn the game. Instead, here's the Saints drives. It's almost uncanny. Like, how does this happen? 4 plays fumble, 4 plays punt, 5 plays punt, 3 plays punt, 3 plays punt, 2 plays at the end of the half. Then in the second half, you put together a 12-play, 45-yard drive that eats up 6:18 off the clock and you miss a field goal. Then you have a 12-play, 87-yard drive that eats up 5:46 and you fumble at the goal line. And then your final drive of the game, 9 plays, 28 yards, 9 plays, 28 yards. 3:17 off the clock and you turn it over on downs. I don't know. I don't have much to say. Kamara's fumbles. Juwan Johnson let a ball hit off his face mask that he should have caught. Was actually one of the good throws of the day by Andy Dalton. Speaking of Andy Dalton, he went full Aaron Brooks, just like throwing the ball into the ground on a screen pass that was open. Chris Harris, he cannot be the best option you have. He just can't be. Like, put Muse out there. If that's, I mean, it'll be less expensive. I mean, Chris Harris is killing you every game. The illegal contact on the Alontae Taylor interception, another moment that changed the game when it was still a game, and you finally get a game-changing play. You finally get one. You're inside the 5, but Chris Harris away from the ball is shoving a receiver down the field. Like, you're a veteran player. You can't sit there and shove him up his shoulder pad running down the field. I don't have a whole lot to be hopeful for, y'all, so I'm sorry. There is no silver lining here. It's something we've talked about for weeks at this point. You don't have great draft capital. You've got a terrible salary cap situation because of a lot of bad contracts that you can't shed. You have no plan or optimism at quarterback. This is really it. This is it. You're going to lose on Monday night at Tampa. And then you're going to go into your bye, and coming out of your bye, Jameis Winston needs to be your quarterback for the final 4 games to see if a healthier Jameis can get anything going offensively, because you have him under contract for another year. Find out if you want to go into next year with Jameis, or if you are going to completely start over, take a quarterback in round 2 and start a rookie. Which, if you do that, I don't care at this point. Like, neither are great options, but you got to pick. And I'd want as much information. Like, what I know is Andy Dalton is not the guy. So I know that. I've told y'all that for 2 months now. But you need to know definitively if Jameis is going to be on your team next year. So give Jameis the final 4 games. The results won't matter because nothing matters at this point. After the season, fire Dennis Allen and hire a more competent head coach that could be what Sean Payton was in 2006, ready to rebuild a struggling organization, and hope that Sean Payton comes back into coaching and you get some very nice draft capital, which will assist you. But someone asked me, hey, what's the scenario for the Saints to get out of this? There is only one scenario, and that's that you have a redo of the 2017 draft where you hit on every pick in a big way, and so your best players are on affordable rookie contracts. That's it. And one of those has to be a quarterback. You got to hope you get Jalen Hurts in round 2. You got to hope you get Russell Wilson in round 3. You got to hope you get Dak Prescott in round 4. Like, that's your only path out. Because building in a measured, temperate way isn't possible for this team because you lack the draft capital and you lack the contract space, the cap space to go sign veterans to supplement your roster. You're just in an awful spot right now, and it's not going to get any better. So, the good news is a week from Monday, you play the Bucs, and then you don't have to play the next week. So if you're looking for silver linings, there's one for you right there. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.